everyone, Jimmy Mix here from Miss Paper, and today I'm putting together two 3x8 pages for my drag mini album using the Paper Person Pride mini kit. So I printed my photos and I've arranged them around my page. You have to be really strategic where you place things on these tiny little 3x8 canvases. So I kind of sketched this out just to see where I thought things might fit. So I've adhered the photos down to just some white cardstock. I've cut out a flag from one of the 3x4 cards from the Paper Person kit. And now I cut down another of those so that I could get my circle punch in there and cut out a sentiment from the middle of the 3x4 card. It says, "Come as you are." I grabbed some holographic washi and add it to the top. I just love the shine and texture that it adds to any page. And then I'm using the stamp set from the Pride mini kit to stamp directly onto that flag. I don't really love how that's stamped, so I needed to grab a black pen to fill it in. I feel like part of the ink got stuck, and when I peeled the stamp up, it ripped the paper from behind, which is not the best, but I was able to make it work. So I'm playing around on the right hand side of my page, and I'm just wanting to add some rainbows and bright color. So I cut up the 3x4 card that's just a striped rainbow and added it to the top of the right hand side at an angle. And then I am planning where I'm going to put these little profile photos, I guess you could call them, on my page. And I wanted to stamp directly behind them just so that there would be a little bit more interest there. I don't love how the stamps turned out, so you'll see in just a bit that I basically scrapped this entire page and pull parts up that I want to reuse on my new page and start all over again. Part of this was because the purple ink that I used to stamp that top circle, it just smeared everywhere. It got all over the background photo, it got all over Tracy's face, and so it was really not good that it smeared everywhere, and normally I can try to hide some of that, but it was just way too far gone, so I decided to pull everything up, which you'll see me do in here in just a moment. And again, I'm not really loving how the stamping is coming up when you stamp directly onto those 3x4 cards. I think it's because they're printed and the design is just kind of floating on top of the paper rather than being sunk into the paper, and so it can get damaged really easy. See, I'm just not happy that I'm smearing things, and you can't really tell on the camera, but you can definitely tell in real life. So I'm pulling off just that rainbow part at the top, and I am reprinting the photos that I had originally printed. That's one of the reasons why I love printing at home. It makes it super easy to do this in case something like this happens. I reprinted the spreadsheet, and I also reprinted our profile photos, and I am wiping off on my desk space just to make sure I am not dragging around more of that purple ink. I also typed out the word royalty and added it to the canvas when I was printing out my additional photos, and so I added it directly on top of the Pride flag down at the bottom. And then recycling the rainbow pattern that I had tried to use before, and because I had stamped on it partially, all it ended up needing to do was be shifted over to the right a little bit, and then I was able to cut that part off. And because I shifted it over to the left, that meant that I could stamp directly onto the white cardstock in the background, which worked out so much better. And so before I'm gluing everything down, I'm wanting to also add some stamping behind my photos just to add a little bit more visual interest, since this is on a just white cardstock canvas. So wanting to add a little bit more visual interest with my stamps, and still wanting to make sure that I'm placing things correctly. So I did all that stamping, and then now I am going back and adhering the photos again. So I also pulled up from that other page the little peach heart, and I've added that back to my page. I am trimming off the excess edges because I have them kind of overlapping against the edge. And then I stamped that Love is Love circle stamp onto a piece of cardstock, and I punched it out using my circle punches. And now I am just going back and finishing up the layout by adding puppy stickers and a little bit more washi tape, and also my journaling, which I printed directly on some sticker paper. And I also added this little sentiment that says, "This is our Super Bowl." The last finishing touches are to use a little sparkle that I love to use from an Everyday Explorers Co. stamp set, and I'm using just colors from the rainbow and stamping them in a few places around the layout just to finish this off. I love the final touch that it adds. I love that there's little pieces of color sprinkled around on all of this white, and I just really love how this came together because it is rainbows, and who doesn't love rainbows? So I'm slipping it into each of these into 3x8 page protectors and clipping them in my album. And here are photos of the finished pages. I have posted all the still images over on Instagram at Misc Paper. That's MISC Paper. You can also click the link in my YouTube banner. For info on the product I use, check out the links in the description box on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please be sure to like it and/or subscribe to my channel. I appreciate you. Jamie Makes, signing off.